his music when Good Morning America continues.
When you get the blues, get a rock and roll beat, and your bones, the taps on your toes, and get going, get rid of them.
More than 50 million records in a career that stretches from the birth of rock and roll to the present. Now he has a new autobiography that shows he's more than just that man in black.
Hello, I'm Johnny Cash.
Johnny Cash grew up in poverty, chopping cotton from the age of 10. But he insists it was a happy time, filled with love and music. In fact, Cash always knew he'd be a singer. After a brief stint in the Air Force, he moved to Memphis and signed with Sun Records. Cash was a hit from his first note. With the 1956 release of I Walk the Line, he topped the country music charts.
Because you're mine, I walk the line.
When more hits followed, it was clear Johnny Cash was a star. The dawn of the 60s proved he was also a rebel. A drug addiction to amphetamines and tranquilizers almost destroyed his career. But by 1968, he had given up drugs, married June Carter, and was primed for a comeback. It was then he recorded the award-winning Johnny Cash at Folsom Prison.
The album of the year, Johnny Cash at Folsom Prison.
Country music has seen its ups and downs in the years since, but the man in black has endured. In a career that spans 4 decades, he's recorded 1,500 songs, nearly 500 albums, won 8 Grammys, and cemented his place as a patriarch of country music.
And Johnny Cash joins us now. I didn't realize until I was reading the research that in the fall of 1969, you were the hottest act in the world, that you were outselling the Beatles, which I found astonishing.
Well, that sounds really good, but I could get work back in '69. But it was quite a year for me, all right? One of the biggest sellers of the whole world on Columbia Records.
When you look at that, video and those old film clips we have, what do you think when you look back over that life?
Not quite. I don't look over the life. I think of that video and think about when that was and what was going on then. But every one is a memory for me. Matter of fact, I got a million memories from the time I was born until today. Laid down a lot of them in the book. And I hope we have a lot more to go. It's been quite a party, I say.
Quite a party. Well,
yeah.
you wrote an autobiography before The Man in Black was out in the 70s. Why write a second one? Well,
there's been a lot happened since '74. And been a lot of trials, tribulations, and problems, and joy. I married June Carter. We have a great son. Immediately had a son. We have 6 daughters and now a son. 13 grandchildren and a great-grandson. And I've been served so well. God has helped me so much and blessed me. And up to today, I still have a lot of stories that I can tell that weren't in Men in Black. Men in Black is a little sketchy, you know? And it was meant for a spiritual odyssey, that book is. This is more, I hope, from the gut and with my feet on the ground.
When you talk about a spiritual odyssey, you went through some serious trials and tribulations. You were one of the first major stars to come out and talk about addiction very candidly. And that was how many years ago now?
That was 25.
Did you ever feel like you were going to have a relapse or slip back into it?
Yeah.
How'd you stay on the straight and narrow?
It doesn't mean I'm cured, you know, just because I went through treatment. If you're, you know, you'll have the disease all your life if you'll have it. But the problem is to keep it in remission and to sustain from mood-altering drugs and alcohol, which I try my best to do.
Except for caffeine. You still drink your coffee.
I let myself have coffee.
Now, your wife, June, you've been married for how long now?
28.
28 years. How'd you meet her?
I met June at the backstage of the Grand Ole Opry. I was a guest star on the show that night. And I saw her sitting in a corner, and I always wanted to talk to her. And I walked over. I was 24 years old, and I introduced myself. And she had been touring with Elvis Presley, and Elvis had talked about me, and she asked me if I'd get her some of my records. So I did it. I got the records right to her first thing next Saturday night, and we've been talking sweetly ever since.
I'll get you a record if you'll marry me. One of those deals.
I didn't quite say that, but almost, yeah.
When you look at the music business now, do you think it's changed for the better or for the worse?
Well, it's better. You couldn't sell 13 million on a single in country music in 1955 when I started, but everything is relative. You know, we got started really headed for the top from the very beginning. Had Folsom Prison Blues, I Walked the Line, Ring of Fire, and they just kept coming. So it's been a great tour, great trip for me, as I say.
And you're going to sing again. Another album will be out at some point in the near future?
Yeah, it'll be my third album for American Recordings.
All right. Johnny Cash, certainly a pleasure to talk to you. This wasn't so nerve-wracking, was it?
No.
All right, good.
No.
He was nervous.
Not at all.
Johnny Cash was nervous.
That
He
was,
said.
that was coffee, though. It wasn't you.
All right, thanks so much for being with us,
Thank
Charlie.
you.
All right, thanks, Lisa and Johnny. Yeah, sick transit Gloria in Miami. The workers at the Pro Player Stadium are